Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and as always, welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. This week, I'm feeling like the smartest man alive after ordering an entire Tenyi deck for myself and forgetting the one-of copy of the field spell that I wanted to play. Nothing like having the 39 pile of cards of the 40 that you want. Yeah, I can substitute something, but it's just not the same. Moving on, Master Duel has had some more leaks data mined, revealing the next festival, the Limit 1 Festival. Presumably, this means you'll only be allowed to play one of any card in your deck, as if you can only play with cards off the limited list, I don't think that's not a very diverse format. So that sounds fun, and more importantly, it sounds like an event that wouldn't be ruined by true Draco. There's also a new story mode for players to enjoy for Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Hooray! Plenty of product news for us here in TCG land this week, with Konami officially announcing the Battle of Legends Crystal Revenge. This set will almost certainly contain all of the cards from the OCG's Animation Chronicle, and hopefully some more reprints of cards that I'm not willing to pay for. Big shoutouts to Prosperity. This is great news for Crystal Beast players who can begin to pray that the pull rates for Carbuncle and Pegasus aren't horribly overpriced for a deck that stands no chance at being a meta contender. There's also speculation about the set having a Starlight Rare Blue Eyes White Dragon as one of its two Starlights, which does track for both Konami's love of DM and the fact that the OCG version of the set does have a Blue Eyes in it as its super special rare card. Other news for the TCG includes 4 imports for the Legendary Duelist Season 3, with confirmation that we'll be getting Gilta the Knight's Retrain, the Harpy's Pet Dragon Retrain, the Mystical Elf Retrain, and you won't believe it, the Retrain of Kaiser Glider. All of them as fancy little secret rares. My Harpy deck can't wait. We do also have what seems to be the full list, with credit for this image here going to Duel Daddy on Twitter, which confirms Magician Souls and Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier as the 2 big winner reprints for this set, or at least that's what they are for me. There's also the Necrofear Retrain getting a reprint, which apparently is $40 right now on TCG Player. That's absurd. So, yay reprints. Also, in terms of confirmed reprints, OTS 19 had its 2 other ultis confirmed, Skill Drain and Water Enchantress of the Temple, which seems to be going the route of the BLS link in terms of reprints. I personally cannot wait for the Ghost Rare in a few months' time. In some light product news, the OCG will be getting these Dark Magician Girl sleeves, divider, and deck box, which is neat, and presumably we'll be getting it in a few months' time. But more interestingly is the announced name of the newest set for the OCG, set to release after Darkwing Blast. Photon Hypernova will be the name of the set, and if it doesn't have Photon cards in it, I will be astounded. I've also heard speculation that the Nova in its name could refer to the Red Dragon Archfiend card support we'll inevitably be getting. As we've now gotten support and, more importantly, level 10 versions of the Signer Dragons, so Stardust, Black Rose, Blackwinged, and Power Tool, it makes sense that Red Dragon Archfiend would get one as well, and it already has a legacy of Nova Dragons, namely Red Nova Dragon and Red Supernova Dragon. So, Red Hypernova Dragon? Copium? My Red Dragon Archfiend deck certainly hopes so. Also this week, another onslaught of new cards, so bear with me. Starting with the Animation Chronicle 2022 is the Doodle Beast cards. Rex has a head the size of my opponent's heads on Dueling Book, and can quick effect tribute summon itself during the main phase by tributing 1 dinosaur monster. And if normal summoned, it destroys a monster on the field. Nice! Better yet, if you tributed a Doodle Beast in order to summon it, it will gain attack equal to half the attack of the monster it destroyed. Poggy's Dino card. Stego is the other Doodle Beast, able to summon itself from hand if you control no monsters or only dinosaur monsters, and if normal or special summon adds a Doodle Beast spell or trap from deck to hand. And then you have to discard 1 card. Couldn't just be a Stratos, huh? At least it does look dope as fuck. Love that artwork, perfect card, no complaints. The only card perfection here searches is Doodle Book because of course that's the name. It can negate any attack on a dinosaur and summon a Doodle Beast from grave that will be indestructible by battle but will destroy itself in the end phase. And other than the turn it was sent to the grave, it can be banished to add a level 5 or higher dinosaur monster from deck to hand. Yes, that does search Pankratops. Or a kaiju, but more importantly, I'm summoning Pank. You could say that. You shouldn't, but you could. Morphtronic have new cards as well, starting with 2 continuous spells. If you control a monster, Toolbox here lets you pick 2 differently named equip spells from the deck. The opponent adds 1 to your hand and then the other goes to the bottom of your deck. At long last, Axe of Despair is searchable. Finally! Do not talk to me about Hidden Armory. Synchro Cat gives me war flashbacks. You're not allowed to bring that card up. There's also Gadget Box, which is hilariously not gadget support and is always treated as a Morphtronic card instead, because you can't name it Morphtronic. There's no way you could do that. On resolution, it will put 3 morph counters, and once per turn can remove a morph counter from the field to summon a level 1 token that will lock you into synchro monsters from the extra deck. This does synergize with Morphtronic's field spell, and were it revealed last week, I maybe could have made a joke about Morbius by calling them Morb tokens. And actually, I still can. I can run that joke into the dirt too. It's Morbin time! Morphtronic Impact Return is their new trap card, which shuffles a Morphtronic from the grave into the deck to shuffle 2 spell and traps the opponent controls into the deck. Neat. It can also be banished to special summon a Morphtronic from your grave in defense position, which is all cute. It'd be a lot better if it was a spell, and more importantly, it's irrelevant because the only one that matters is that new Telephone monster from a few weeks ago. 3 other cards from the set have been revealed as well, and they're all equally terrible. Dragon Nails is an equip that gives 600 attack and then will revive the monster it's equipped to when it's destroyed by battle and then re-equip itself. Woo! Crazy! Neos also got a spell that will revive a monster destroyed by battle this turn for each player, and then if Neos specifically is summoned, when it does battle, it does double damage. At least the dinosaur looks cool on it. And then there's this abomination in the Light of God, which has an effect to summon itself at the end of a damage step, sends a trap from your hand or field to destroy all other monsters in its column, and when destroyed, it will roll a die. And if that die rolls a 6, you can add a card from your graveyard to your hand. Instant 3 of in every deck, the new meta staple, $87 secret rare, can't wait. We also got the August VJUMP promo revealed, and it was said to help Crystal Beasts. Oh boy, more! Lots of love for them so far. What does this one do? Once per turn, summon itself from hand if you've got a face-up card in the Spell and Trap Zone. Can foolish a monster by sending 2 face-up cards from the Spell and Trap Zone to the grave, and gain 600 attack and defense for each face-up Spell and Trap card on the field? Wow, it does all of those? It's barely playable! Can't just give Crystal Beast a good card, I suppose. Moving on, the Crystal Beast structure deck also got 2 new cards revealed. Awakening the Crystal Lord, a quick play that is activated by revealing or controlling an ultimate crystal monster, and if you revealed one, will let you either special summon a Crystal Beast from your hand, deck, grave, or Spell and Trap Zone, or take a bridge card related to Crystal Beasts and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Better yet, if you control an ultimate crystal when you activate this card, you get both of the effects. That is E-Telly Plus for the deck, and actually good. Maybe not the best segue into... Anyway, the other crystal card is Crystal Brilliance, a continuous trap that gives all Crystal Beast attack equal to their defense, and if a Crystal Beast card is placed in your Spell and Trap Zone, you can send this card to the grave to summon a Crystal Beast from your hand or grave, and then have all damage you'll take for the turn. I would mention that you can only control one of this card, but that would imply that you'd be playing more than one, and you wouldn't do that. Don't do that. We also got a bunch of new reveals from Darkwing Blast, a set I'm very interested to have come to the TCG as an ignorant Blackwing player pretending it's still 2012. Starting with 2 pieces of support for Scareclaw, Decline Scareclaw can target 1 Primitive Planet Reich Phobia, which is apparently the Scareclaw field spell. Sure. It targets one of those in your grave or on your field and returns it to hand. Then if you control a Visaz Starfrost, you can Book of Moon one of your opponent's monsters. And it doesn't target. So, great, hooray. They also got a trap, Scareclaw Icarus attack. It tributes a Scareclaw monster to pop 2 cards on the field, or if you controlled Visaz, it will banish the cards instead. Nice. And if there's a Link 3 or higher monster on the field, you can banish it from the grave to make Link monsters unable to activate their effects. Nothing like a lingering floodgate to just fix an archetype. I suppose as long as it is also Reichphobia, it will have my support. In more legacy support, Naturia of all decks is getting more cards, and Darkwing Blast as well. Mole Cricket is a new level 1 for the deck, and during the main phase it can tribute itself to summon a Naturia monster from the deck. And if the opponent controls the monster on the field with the highest attack, you can summon 2 monsters instead. That's even a quick effect. And if the opponent summons a monster from the extra deck, or you summon a Naturia from the extra deck while it's in the graveyard, it just summons itself for free. None of that's once per turn, it doesn't banish itself, it's actually just a good Naturia card, what the hell? Or at least, you know, a good Naturia that's not a Synchro monster. Those are very rare. Camellia is the new level 4 tuner for the deck, which foolishes a Naturia card on summon, lets you mill 2 cards instead of tributing to activate a Naturia monster's effect, and summons a Naturia monster from grave if the opponent special summons. That's all of those are good, and they're once per turn, so you know, some balance, but like still good. The last bit of support revealed is Naturia Spring Breeze, a quick play spell. It has 3 effects that you can activate one of when you activate the card. Either special summon a Naturia monster from your hand or grave, synchro summon any synchro monster using at least 1 Naturia monster you control as material, or fusion summon any fusion monster using cards you control as material, including at least 1 Naturia monster. Again, actually solid. Now we just have to hope that this isn't another case like Naturia Pineapple. I'll have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Single card history video on that card soon enough, I'm sure. Are you a fan of meta contenders? Good news for you then, Tearalaments has 4 new cards, and they're the only new deck that seems to be keeping up with Splight, and is, based on that Lithium video I watched yesterday, awful as well. Lulukaros is their new fusion monster. It makes your other aqua monsters indestructible by battle. If it's sent to the grave by card effect while fusion summoned, it will revive itself, and when the opponent activates an effect that would special summon a monster, or monsters, it can negate and destroy that card, and send a Tearalaments card from hand or face-up field to the grave. Negation for the meta deck. Thank God, I was beginning to worry they didn't have enough. They also got a not quick play E-Telly, or a hero lives, I guess, able to summon a Tearalament or Visaz Starfrost from the deck or grave, and send a monster you control with the same type or attribute to the graveyard to help trigger their effects. And if that card is sent to the grave by card effect, it puts a banished Tearalement trap back into your hand. Tearalament's Heartbeats features the new Scareclaw Funko Pop, and I hate being reminded that that card exists. It's a quick play that shuffles a spell or trap into the deck and sends a card from your hand to the grave, and if you control Visaz, you target 2 spell and trap instead of 1. Twin Twister meets Castel meets the Dinomischus Send to Grave by card effect. My Shadal player heart is interested. Fuck the artwork though. Oh, it has the same effect as the previous spell, returning a banished Tearalament trap to hand when sent to the grave by card effect. All of their new spells are doing that, including Screams, which is the name of their next one. It features Red Guy here, and is a continuous spell that mills 3 cards from your deck the first time a monster is normal or special summoned if you control a Tearalaments or Visaz. And also, the opponent's face-up monsters will lose 500 attack for the turn. That's alright, I guess. But who's the red guy? And why is his armor red? That's Kshatri-La Unicorn. I worry that I'm pronouncing that wrong, so apologies for that. I'm just going to shorten it to K-Law because that's shorter for me, and it'll be hard to mispronounce that. Unicorn here is a level 7 that can special summon itself from hand if you control no monsters, and during the main phase can add a K-Law spell from your deck to your hand. And when it declares an attack or the opponent activates a monster effect, it can look at the opponent's extra deck and banish 1 card in it face down. That won't get annoying. Fenrir here is another level 7 with the exact same effect, from the summoning to the banishing face down, but it searches a K-Law monster once per turn instead. With that said, you'll never believe that this third one here is actually a hand trap to stop cards that interact with the banished zone. And you'd be right to not believe that, because Ogre here is the same as the other two, but it searches a trap. What a horribly annoying main deck. I hope the extra deck isn't as awful. He said Tempting Fate, Kshatri-La, Shangri-La. The Xyz needs any 2 or more level 7s and has the totally awesome effect to summon a Kshatri-La monster from deck in the standby phase, and the Dingirsu light effect that lets it detach a material to prevent destruction. And each time a card is banished face down, you can target an unused main monster zone or spell a trap zone to make it unusable while this card is on the field. Fuck this deck entirely, I guess. That's not horrible, but it is going to be really annoying. For spells, they have Kshatri-La Birth, and that's birth with an E and not an I. I don't want to know what that would look like. It's a continuous spell that lets you summon a level 7 monster without tribute once per turn, and can summon a non-Xyz K-Law from the grave or banished zone. And then if the opponent activates a spell, card, or effect while you control a Kshatri-La monster, banishes 3 cards from the opponent's grave face down. The trap is also continuous and lets you summon a Kshatri-La monster that is banished or in your hand, and when the opponent activates a trap card or effect while you have this card and a Kshatri-La monster, it can look at the opponent's hand and banish a card from that face down. I have a friend, or maybe two, that would probably love this deck, and I no longer want Darkwing Blast to come into the TCG. So moving on right into community news, Progression Series has no joke from me. Gage unironically played Pac-Man and expected to win, or more accurately, was surprised that he lost. I don't remember any good pulls, and it's now 11-9 in favor of Simo, which is, I believe, his 7-game winning streak? Or is it Gage's 7-game losing streak? Surely he can't lose 8 in a row. Stay tuned for Monday, though, when he probably does. There's a clear pattern here. In more depressing news, YouTuber and God-tier Drytron player Tatsym has been banned from tournament play for 4 years. This comes as a shock to just about everyone, mostly Tatsym. He has posted a video on his own channel explaining Konami's reason for the ban, naming online harassment following YCS Charlotte as well as leaking stolen product. The stolen product leaks were from December of last year after some Yu-Gi-Oh cards from the Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1 set were found in the garbage of the production plant, I believe. And as for the online harassment, nobody's 100% sure what that is referring to. There is a video by Tatsym that he even mentions that he made following the YCS Charlotte finals after they had some complications during the stream, but there was no harassment in that video. It was very analytical. There's no real joke here, it's just a damn shame to see a quality player and, more importantly, a quality member of the community banned. So send him support if you can. In some lighter-hearted news, YouTuber and penned god Triff posted this tweet yesterday, which I feel is important to share with the world. And even more so, get to enjoy imagining Thanos trying to beat a 7-gate board even after activating 3 hand traps. Iron Man didn't have to die, he simply chose to. Hakuna My Data, a YouTuber who specializes in statistics, is doing a survey this week, looking to get a sample of what makes up the Yu-Gi-Oh community, or at least a feel for its online presence. You can feel free to take part, and I'll throw a link down in the description of this video if you're looking to throw in your own data in the statistics. And lastly, this image showed up on my Twitter this morning right as I was finishing up the script, and I just thought I'd share it. And so that wraps it up for this week's update. As always, I'm your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's update, and so you too can become a true duelist.